Okay. So, how much D&D stuff is there?
I Again, can you clarify the question? You're asking very open-ended questions today, Russ.
All right. How much D&D stuff has ever been made for all
Not
editions?
just not just Wizards of the Coast.
Ever.
I can't conceptualize because there's thousands of new, I feel like, games coming out a year.
So
Because like
official ones, not third
oh, so
party
just
ones.
Wizards
So Wizards and
with
TSR basically.
that's still a lot.
Still a lot.
2,000.
2,000 D&D stuffs. Okay.
Is that
And
include? Does that just mean books, or does that mean
so
minis?
I've got some stats here. It includes books, box sets. It does not include magazines, miniatures, dice, that sort of thing. But it includes books, box sets, things like that.
I can't even know. It's in the thousands, in the high thousands. 2,000 was probably too low.
Hmm.
Because
Okay.
ever since the 80s,
Hmm.
I don't know. Tell me, Russ.
Okay. Well, let me before we do that. Let's. What edition of D&D would you say is probably the one with the most stuff?
Has fifth edition been around? Fifth edition's
10 years.
been 10 years. And how long were the other editions
Mm,
out for? Because that's quite a
uh,
long. And we're still in fifth edition because the 2024 is not a new rule set, so it still
yeah.
counts as the same edition.
So let's have a look. So original D&D and basic D&D kind of overlapped, and they were probably up until sort of like I don't know the 80s, late 80s, and AD&D came in. That was about 12 years, I think, or something like that. AD&D 2E, second edition, was a little shorter. I think it was probably about 10 years, I think, at a guess. And then third edition would have been 15 years. Because that would have been 2000 to 2015 when. Oh no, I missed out fourth edition, didn't I? So that would have been about
Yeah.
10 years of third edition, about 5 years of fourth edition, and then about 10 years of fifth edition.
So for
This is just off the top
me,
of my head, though, so I might get those numbers slightly wrong.
I it's between first edition and fifth edition then, and I'm
Mm-hmm.
gonna go for fifth edition purely because the hobby has grown over time, and maybe they can leverage that into more commercial products. So that
Hmm.
to answer your question, Russ, I believe fifth edition would have the most stuff and or things.
Hmm. Well, you'd be incorrect because it is dwarfed by second edition.
Duh. Okay.
Dwarfed. Have a look at this. So this is going back to 1974.
Wow. Look at that.
So, as you can see, the second edition has nearly half of all D&D products ever made.
That's
44%,
wild.
45%.
Why is that?
It's partly why people say TSR failed, why it went bankrupt, because they were pumping out so much stuff. They had, a
Okay.
dozen different campaign worlds, which were basically product lines, which
Hmm.
were all kind of like siloed off, and like the individual sales on each one was comparatively lower because instead of having, say you have 1,000 customers, they didn't have 1,000, they had a lot more. So you have 1,000 customers, and you've got one campaign setting, then that
Hmm.
campaign setting will sell 1,000 units. But
Yeah.
if you have 1,000 customers and you have 10 campaign settings, each customer on average is going to buy, each one's going to sell on average 100 units because most people aren't going to buy 10 different campaign settings because they're not going to use 10 campaign settings, are they? You
Yeah.
can't. So that's kind of why they say TSR. One of the big reasons TSR failed because it just put out too much stuff and
Yeah, I
basically
guess.
spread itself too thin. But it's tons and tons and tons of stuff. So as you can see, sort of second
Wow.
edition was by far the biggest,
I
followed
was
by
I was
first
so
edition.
wrong. Yeah, I
Yeah,
was so wrong.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Fifth edition is only 6%.
I almost couldn't be more
It's actually
wrong.
the lowest.
Yeah. Of
Apart
all the
from
wrongs,
apart from original D&D, sorry, which is 1.1%.
yeah,
It is fifth edition is the second lowest.
that would have been the only way I could have been more wrong.
Hmm. Yeah, I was surprised by that. I'm not. I knew second edition would be the top one because I remember how much stuff there was and how much
Well, I
stuff
wasn't
had.
alive back then, you see, Russ, so I don't know these things.
You were around in the 80s and the 90s.
I was around. Oh, yeah, that's true. When did third edition launch?
Third edition was 2000.
Early 90s? Oh, it's 2000.
Yeah.
I thought it was early 90s. I'm wrong.
No.
I wasn't in the hobby at that time, but I was playing Hero Quest.
Which is something that you're doing this weekend, I believe.
It is. I've got my nephew and niece over, and they have been asking for 2 weeks for me to run some Hero Quest, and we haven't had the time. So I said, okay, this weekend. So, and it's going to be raining where I am all day tomorrow. So I think the plan is to just stay inside and play Hero Quest a lot.
And the characters are Princess, Spider Girl, and Darren. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know what? That's what they like, and that's fine.
Fine. I'm not complaining. So we got more.
No, it's Aaron, not Darren, actually.
Oh, well, that's totally different.
I know.
I mean, I feel deceived now. I feel like I've been gaslit about this Hero Quest game.
So next week I'll let you know how Critical Role was and how the adventures of Spider Girl and Aaron, Princess Spider Girl and Aaron were.
I think I preferred Darren. Darren kind of worked better for the track, but still.
I mean, yeah.
Anyway, let's have a look at this graph. This is the number of average products each edition put out per year. So you can see 5th edition puts out under 10 products a year.
But that makes sense to me. Like, one a month is still a huge amount of products.
Yeah.
Like,
Absolutely. You know. And that's worked incredibly well for them. It's the most successful edition ever, isn't it? 5th edition. They figured out how to do it. Put out a smaller number of products and have everyone buy all of them, rather than a lot of products and have some people buy each one.
Yeah.
So look at 2nd edition there, like 50 products a year.
That's too many.
5 a month. Yeah.
There's no way, even as a mega fan, you could keep up with that volume.
That's one a week. Yeah. It's just a flood, a tsunami of D&D stuff.
Wow.
And even 4th edition was putting out a lot. That's about 25 products a year, so that was one every 2 weeks.
Yeah, and if it's all setting and stuff, that must be quite expensive because you're paying so many different writers and artists and
how do you market all that as well? You don't have time to market each one, but before the next one's on.
Yeah, that makes sense with what you're saying about TSR, and that's why, it didn't work out because just the sheer volume. But I get why, if they had loads of ideas and they wanted to get loads of stuff out there, I understand the enthusiasm, being like, yeah, we're going to do all these things, and it's so great, because in theory that sounds great, but...
Yeah. Well, bear in mind, this isn't even counting the magazines. So Dragon Magazine, Dungeon Magazine, and Polyhedron Magazine.
Oh gosh.
3 entire magazine lines going on at the same time, monthly magazines going on at the same time. That makes it add up even more.
Does that include Dragon Warriors? Was that a magazine?
Only D&D branded stuff we're talking about here.
Oh, okay.
Only D&D branded stuff.
Okay.
Official D&D branded stuff, so not licensed stuff or anything like that. But
that is so many.
It's a lot of stuff. I've got another graph here. A set of graphs, actually, I put together. This is all compiled, by the way, by Echohawk on EN World, who does these amazing columns about D&D collectors, articles listing all the products to collect, the monster encyclopedia, all sorts of things. So this is sort of per year. I don't know if you can actually read all of that. It's actually, there's 7 graphs there, all quite small.
Yeah.
But this is how each of them sort of operated per year. How many products, and also that each is on a different scale. Because obviously the 2nd edition one is a different scale to like the 5th edition one. Yeah,
because 2nd edition is on a different scale to everything else because they were doing so much.
Yeah. It is fascinating though. It really is fascinating.
Yeah.
But Echohawk also calculated the cost, because it was kind of like, how much would it cost to be a D&D collector? So I don't have a slide for this, so I'll just have to read this out to you.
Okay,
So if you were to buy everything from each edition, this is how much it would cost you.
As it came out, not collector's price, but yeah.
And this isn't taking into account inflation or anything. Obviously, this, something that costs $10 then would cost more now.
In our day, that would have been a halfpenny.
A halfpenny.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do actually remember half peas. Wow.
I don't.
You don't. We had a jar of them. Don't know what happened
Anyway,
to that. Anyway.
what?
Anyway, so original D&D, 16 products. It would have cost you $68.41 to buy them all.
That's not too bad.
Now it would buy, as we found out earlier, for over 5,000 just to buy the original box set.
Yeah.
But $68.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean that goes to show how much less stuff there is there, though.
Yeah, and also inflation. So, because like you said, that's not accounting for that.
Yeah. Then we've got basic D&D. So this was 129 products.
Okay.
And this would have cost you in total $1,176 to buy all of that.
That's feeling a bit more like real money.
Yeah, yeah.
Because didn't a house cost 50 quid in those days as well?
I don't think that's entirely true.
And a halfpenny, sorry.
And a halfpenny, yeah. First edition AD&D, 146 products. That would have cost you 1,136. So in the same sort of region as basic D&D. About the same.
Okay.
And then second edition.
Second edition's going to be wild. I'm not ready for this number.
Yeah. 550 products.
550. And the previous ones were how many, sorry? Like 100?
146 for first edition.
Okay.
It was 16 for original.
Oh my goodness.
So you see that. All right. So the cost to buy all of the second edition official first party stuff, not counting magazines, miniatures, dice, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Just the
books.
$8,374.
Wow. And that was in the 90s as well.
And that was in the 90s, yeah. So if you apply inflation, you're probably talking like 25 grand or something.
Yeah.
You'd have to be a dedicated collector to buy all of that.
Yeah, that's serious.
Which is why, nobody could really afford to buy all of the AD&D 2E stuff, which is why individually each book did less.
No, not at all.
No.
Well, there we go.
Yeah. So third edition, 171 with 4.2k that you'd have to spend. So quite a lot there.
Yeah.
They did pump quite a lot of stuff out for third edition. So $4,200 that would cost you. Fourth edition, 135 products, would cost you $2,800.
Okay.
And then fifth edition. Fifth edition, 84 products, would cost you $3,500 to buy all of fifth edition.
Wow, that feels quite reasonable when you put it in those terms.
Yeah, I suppose that's only half what second edition would have cost you, but like we say, we're not counting inflation in that.
Yeah.
In real terms, I guess it's only a fraction.
Yeah. Well, there we go. That's really interesting.
Yeah.
Thanks for compiling. And I guess the full article's on EN World if people want to dig more into the...
Yeah, there's lots more graphs, lots more data that you can dig into, and you can add whatever else you want up on there and come to whatever conclusions you decide you want to. I mean, he's done things like worked out how much it costs per page per edition and things like that, which is probably more detail than we need to go into here. But there'll be a link in the show notes, and you can look up the fact that 3E cost you 17 cents a page, whereas 4E would have cost you 21 cents a page, and 5E comes in at 27 cents a page. If you're that interested.
This is what I love about nerd communities: is people do deep dives and do stuff like this. I love it. I love our community.
Yeah. That's how much D&D stuff there is. Quite a lot is the answer.
And I was wrong. It's not
bear in mind, we're only talking official stuff there. Like in the 2000s, the D20 club was massive.
Yeah.
Everyone pumping out D20 branded stuff.
Yeah.
And these days, 5e third-party stuff is massive.
Yeah.
I don't know how it compares to the D20 guide. That would be a really interesting thing to do, to compare the two. Get figures on.
That would be a big data set. So
I think the question is, do you count all of DM's Guild? Because there's a lot of stuff on there.
I think so.
There's an awful lot of stuff on there.
Well, I'm not going to compile that data because
no,
I don't even whilst I'm watching Critical Role next week, I don't think I'll have time.
No. It'll be interesting, though. It would be interesting just to compare. Because we did talk last week. Was it last week? We showed a graph about how. Did we talk about it? I can't remember. How
I don't know what you're
since
talking about.
2023, probably if I tell you what I'm talking about, then you can tell me
Yeah.
whether we talked about it. How about we do it
Yeah.
that way around?
That will help
Why don't
me.
you treat causality in time as a linear thing
That is how I
and do things
experience
in the
time.
order in which they occur? Yeah, that's probably easier, I think.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll do that. Okay. So the number of third-party D&D stuff
Yeah.
basically dropped off a cliff in 2023.
Okay.
It was going up and up and up. It peaked in 2023 and then dropped off a cliff. Did we talk about that? There was a graph and everything. I know I put it on Blue Sky. I know I talked about it on Blue Sky.
I don't know is the most sincere answer I can give you.
You can't remember whether we did. I think
Yeah.
we didn't
I mean,
actually. I think I might have just put it on Blue Sky.
Oh, fair enough. I don't remember, but that doesn't mean it didn't happen. But anyway, this is the case.
Yes. And of course, there's two things that would contribute to that, I think. One, that was the time of the OGL crisis. So everyone was like, oh, I'm a bit too scared to produce 5e compatible stuff right now.
Yeah.
And it never recovered. At least as of yet. We don't know what the second half of 2025 is like. But certainly up as far as the first half of 2025. The graph basically was going up and up and up. To the end of 2023, OGL crisis, and then it went like that. The other thing was D&D 2024 being announced.
Yeah.
So I think that has two effects on the market. As there's two things. One is customers like, well, I'm going to wait and see what Wizards is doing, and my budget for role-playing games is this, and I'm going to spend it on the 3 big shiny new hardcover D&D books.
Sure.
So of course the market for third-party stuff shrunk because there's a new big shiny for the £800 gorilla in the room.
Yeah.
And the other thing was the publishers themselves were doing the same thing, saying, right, let's wait and see what 2024 is because we don't want to put stuff out which is going to be obsolete in 6 months or a year's time.
Yeah.
So I think those two things, the OGL thing and D&D 24, together combined to a massive shrinking of the third-party D&D market. Whether that will continue or whether that will reverse itself, I suspect it will start to reverse itself over the next year or two. I don't know. But I think, not that we want to share internal sales figures, but we've certainly noticed that. And from informal conversations I've had with other companies who, I'm not going to say who, other people have noticed that too. It's not...
This does happen every time a new edition of Dungeons & Dragons comes out. And I know that it's not a new edition, ha 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 thing. Yeah,
yes. But it is.
Yeah. Well, yes. But, yes. But yeah, this does tend to happen to the third-party market every time it happens. Yeah. So it's not a huge surprise. I'm not shooketh by this.
No. I think Wizards' concentration on starter sets over the second half of this year might leave a little space for third-party stuff.
Yeah.
People who are sort of like, well, I don't need a starter set. What I want is a new campaign setting or an adventure or a source book
monsters,
about witches or something,
I want a source. I do want a source book about witches, actually.
There are probably many, Jess.
I'll go Google later.
I'm sure there are many. I'm sure I've seen quite a few on Kickstarter over the last few years.
Wonderful. Well, there we go. Stats and data. Good to have.
Actual stats and actual data.
What else we got in the news?